this sewing machine doesn't have a proper button to adjust the presser foot pressure. However, we can still adjust it by hand. I'm going to show you now how to swap this piece to put it in here if it's the same brand of machine. Basically, if you want to adjust this thing, you just keep the spring down, you just press on it to release at all tension, and at that moment you can just rotate this counterclockwise, counterclockwise as you need it, and it's going to go up and down, and this will kind of release or increase the pressure on the spring. It's up to you. So what we want to do, this being two white brands, is the same brand, so the threads are compatible. You want to make sure it's released so the knob is all the way up, and usually you should be able to just unscrew this piece here. If it doesn't go, grab a pliers and just rotate it counterclockwise. Again, between the same brands, about the same years, I would expect these two parts to be compatible. So this is the thread. You also have the hole. If you can insert your finger, you can actually remove the spring through this hole. And also my suggestion is, while this acts as the upper bushing for the rod of the presser foot, you can also check the how smooth it is, the friction here at the bottom. Just try to lift, let me just see, lift the pressure foot rod, and it will give you an idea how much, if it's well lubricated, the lower bushing it's well lubricated, or if it has a lot of pressure or a lot of friction. I actually like to put a bit of grease in there instead of oil, because there's a lot of friction in there. Anyhow, so we want to, again, you want to keep the spring normally down. It's going to be easier to rotate. We want to, so basically, again, you can screw this in, screw it on, out as you want. However, let me just try to place the cover almost back in place. The cover sits a bit like this, so you cannot really unscrew it all the way out. And also, if you want to insert the other piece in here, what you need to do is cut a notch into the cover. This cover is plastic. I'm going to perhaps use a drill to just cut a round notch just above it to make place for the other piece. So again, this goes off. Don't worry, the spring, you may check the spring, but it should have no tension at some point. Don't worry, it's not going to jump in your face. It's long thread, so be patient. Remember, the top notch, there's like a slot in there, goes upwards, not down. So make sure you install it properly, not the other way around. Okay. At this point also, I was saying, yes, it's running on the table. You can check the spring. I can tell you the spring from this unit. This is the spring that I put it from it. This is a spring from the other unit, which had the button adjustment. Notice there is a difference also in stiffness. You may try to swap the springs and just make it, it's up to you really. See how much you can adjust the tension if you swap the spring as well. Okay, so we get the other part. Again, try to have it all the way up. If you have it's it all the way down, it's going to push this rod out. So again, this is like the top sleeve for the rod from the presser foot. What you want to do, my suggestion is insert a bit of grease inside here. Make sure you don't put it on the threads, but insert it inside here. It's going to lubricate the upper bushing if you want. So it's going to slide much easier. I prefer grease again on this rod because of the high friction instead of oil. But obviously, you can also use oil. I forgot to mention something. Where is it? The other body. That bushing that I had. Okay, there. So I was saying that you can unscrew it to release the tension. On this machine, the tension, when you put the cover in place, this sits quite low. There is huge amount of tension, crazy. I was really surprised. And actually, I did release the presser foot, and you can tell at the bottom of it, let's see if the camera will focus. You can tell this scratch here. That's because there is a lot of pressure. It was scratching. This is the whole, if you want, damage wear against the dog feet tip. So it's a lot of pressure in there. I'm not sure why. And basically, we cannot really adjust that the stud to have very little pressure unless you drill a hole here, and if you unscrew it a lot to get very little tension on the spring, one thing that will happen is that notice you know that the presser foot is moving up and down. If this thing has little tension from the spring on it, it will move inside and possibly it will start unscrew it slowly, so you will lose tension at some point. In other words, if you keep this piece and just try to unscrew it up to release, to have very little tension in the presser foot, at some point you will lose that tension as well. It will be zero tension. So it's not made for little tension, this kind of design. It's really meant for a lot of tension, because when there is a lot of tension in the spring, it also pushes into this piece and it kind of locks the threads. It will prevent it from rotating, slowly rotating, little by little, very little by very little. It will kind of keep it without rotation, so the tension will be steady. Okay, I hope you got the point. So it's a cheaper design meant for high tension actually on the presser foot. Okay, so I did keep the original spring. So basically, you may try it with the spring from the other unit if it's different size, different tension in it, but you may want to just check all your adjustments. So at this point, don't force too much, because if you tighten it too hard down, it may be difficult to release the next time. So don't try too hard on it. Don't be too hard on it, just a little bit, and maybe check it once in a while so it doesn't break loose. Okay, so at this point there is, let me see, I think there is already a bit of tension. Let's try to release it fully. And you want to perhaps make sure you lower this level. So at this point there is very little tension in it. So if I would just press down, watch for your fingers for the needle. Let's see for the camera. Yeah, so now it's more tension. I would say this should be no more than this. Okay, so you can use it. Actually, you can press it all the way down and it's going to be good to kind of see you play with, I guess. So you need to check the whole range of tension, maybe even at the upper level, see if there's not too much tension already. So maybe you won't be able to get only a little bit of tension. It depends on your machine. On this, I think this is the lowest setting, and yes, this should be, I think this is too low of a tension for any fabric. So but what I can tell you is that the adjustments, because this spring is long and stiff, the adjustments are very small, so maybe it's not easy to use. Just keep that in mind. I did adjust very small, and yeah, this will be my preferred tension for the kind of soft fabrics I'm using. So the adjustments here need very small increments. Obviously it was not designed for this machine, so it's not a perfect match. So keep this in mind. And again, if you want to swap this and you don't have a notch, you will need to get an electric drill. Perhaps, I don't know if the electric drill will work or not, but I'll try to get an electric drill with a big thick bit, and I'll try to kind of move it sideways. So I'm going to keep the bit like this and try to move it sideways to grab into this plastic material. If it's metal, not sure if you can make a small hole to allow this piece here, this wider piece. So just keep this in mind. But at least it's doable. And also finish this. You may, in fact, try to just swap perhaps the spring or any other spring. If you have another spring from another machine, it doesn't matter the brand, if it fits on the rod, if it's the good length, maybe just swap the spring for a softer or a smaller spring, and then try to insert this piece and try to screw it in and out and see if you can adjust it for the tension that you need for your sewing needs. So maybe you don't need this knob. Maybe you can still reuse the stud, the original stud, but with a different spring. And yeah, my suggestion, also check your presser foot, because at some point these notches, I think it won't damage the material, but if there is, I think I would just want to resurface it a little bit, because there's like yeah, to make it smoother again.